And I'm right back. So basically, this is the second part of the video where we basically talk about what we learned, specifically psychologically speaking. So, what's the first thing we learned today? Like, I was talking about flooding therapy, right? I've mentioned this in my videos before. What is flooding therapy? And how does it differentiate from other sorts of exposure therapies? Well, flooding therapy is basically, well, let's say you have a fear of spiders, right? I'm going to use the example he gave in the video. You have a fear of spiders. So what the therapist would ask you to do is basically sign a form saying you're going to definitely feel heightened levels of anxiety. You'll be safe. It's just you will fear, you may even get a panic attack. You just need to sign saying you understand. This is called an informed consent form. And if you agree, what the therapist would basically do is, you guys sit down in the room and he would bring a spider and place it on your arm and you go up and down your arm for maybe 90 minutes until you've become okay with that fact. Okay? It's desensitization. It's graded exposure desensitization, except it's much faster. Like you see my videos about choking phobia. You see that, in the beginning, the videos were about food that I thought was very scary. And to a certain extent, my choking phobia will trick me into thinking it's a very scary food to these days. That's why I gotta keep making these videos, right? And I start with that food, and then it becomes less scary as I, stay with the anxiety and the exposure becomes more successful. And then you move on to a more difficult food. I'll give you an example. I started with chips, potato chips, right? Thin, right? So my mind thinks that they're not, they can't, harm me as much. They can't choke me as much because they're thin. I can chew them up. They can become a bolus. All these things start happening in your brain. So you start thinking, okay, this is less scary than, let's say, a steak or French fries or something like that, right? Because steaks, they're very, thick. You gotta chew them. With French fries, they're all over the place in your mouth. Two could be here, one could be here. You forget one, next thing you know, you're just choking. So this is what your choking phobia, or whatever phobia you have, whatever specific phobia you have, whether it's spiders, flying, needles, right? We'll trick you into saying this is scarier than it actually is. And flooding is where you just go to the scariest thing, which in my opinion, I guess would be like, in my first video, it would be like having a steak with pierogies and, I don't know, some French fries. And saying, I'm not gonna leave, until I've eaten this. And not just eaten it, I felt my anxiety go up and down, right? I felt it get to the highest level it possibly can, stayed with it, become mindful enough to breathe through it and allow it to naturally and gradually come down. I don't recommend this because if you saw my first video, I was a mess. I mean, unless you have a good therapist or you don't have a lot of money, I wouldn't recommend this. And people are saying, well, this is a great idea because it's a cost-saving mechanism for getting better. People even have said it in the video. And I agree with that. The person did say in the video, it saves money. You also understand what he said in the video. He said 0.2% of people who do flooding therapy get panic attacks. So what that's like, when people give you medication for suicide, and one of the side effects is suicidal thoughts. I just find that so funny. It was so odd. Sometimes, everyone, people at least that I watch these videos know about doctors prescribing medication, and you read the insert they give you, and it's like a whole list of side effects like fatigue, depression, suicidal thoughts, and it's just weird nightmares. And it's like, I'm kind of trying to get away from those things, So that's why I don't think flooding therapy flooding exposure therapy is best. I mean, even if you want to save the extra buck, I still wouldn't recommend it. It's better to get some sort of workbook and grade your fears, from lowest to highest, and work on it that way. He also mentioned, which is something that I've been mentioning many times, this idea of relaxation exercises before you do your exposures. Because people, when they're so anxious and they're so they're avoiding their behavior, they're engaging in avoidance behavior, they don't really feel natural when they do something that's anxiety provoking. And they would make a whole production out of it. Like, they're expecting to be anxious because they've learned they're going to be anxious, right? And they've learned to be anxious because they've been avoiding the anxious situation. Therefore, their brain is saying, well, obviously I'm avoiding this because, right? I'm avoiding it. And then the brain thinks logically, why are people avoiding things? Because it's harmful, it's dangerous, it's poisonous, right? And so that's what your brain thinks. You need to rethink your brain. You need to rethink your brain. I mean, you need to rethink what your brain is telling you that you told it, right? Does that make sense? For your brain, you can't blame your brain. You can't be like, oh, stupid brain thinking I'm anxious. No, you've been telling it this entire time by avoiding certain situations that these situations are anxiety provoking. It's only by going back to those situations and doing them again and telling your brain this is not anxiety provoking, this is actually medication you should be taking, right, that you will actually get a decrease in your anxiety. Now I want to mention something that one of my someone who's like I consider associate of mine told me. We were discussing these videos a bit. I'm gonna wrap up with this. We were discussing these videos a bit, and I explained to him what I was doing and what all this means to me and how it's helped me so much, and how I thank God. I try to thank God almost every day and to be very grateful for I guess inspiring me or giving me the will to do these videos and work on them every single day and work on myself every single day. And as I was going through this ideas to him, as I was saying this to him, he was like, I agree with you, it's very interesting. It's just it basically seems like my basic hang up with it would be the fact that I have an ego, right? He said this to me kind of like this. I said, well, so do you have social anxiety? And he's like, yes. And I was like, oh, so you got a diagnosis from a psychiatrist? He's like, no. I basically looked it up on the internet, and I looked at him like, isn't it? It's very, like I said, don't self-diagnose, because it's very important to get a diagnosis from a doctor. Well, so you may be doing, for example, therapies that you may or may not need, right? In the beginning of these videos, for example, I was doing exposure and response prevention therapy when I'm only supposed to be doing exposure therapy. The response prevention is only for people who have OCD, which is distinct from OCPD, because OCD, you think that whatever you're doing is wrong. For example, washing your hands 20 times a day. OCPD, you don't think it's wrong. For example, avoiding a meal, right? Or not avoiding a meal, like someone telling you they're going to be 10 minutes late, and they're 30 minutes late, and you can't handle that, so you fly on the deep end. You've seen videos of me doing that. I just can't deal with it sometimes. I need precision. And so he basically said he learned about this through the internet, and I was quite shocked when he said I have an ego, like as if that's somehow something that that you should have. I mean, we're not. This is a doctor. This is like a scientific conversation, right? We're not talking about like how you feel so much as we're talking about like treatment methods for disorders that that we have. I just found it odd that he said I have an ego. Like, you need to understand. You need to get over any stigma you may feel that therapy makes you weak or wrong. That's the biggest fucking bullshit I've ever heard from anybody. When they tell me I have an ego, and so therefore I'm not gonna work these things. I'm not gonna face my fears. I'm not gonna do my graded exposures. I'm not gonna do my relaxation exercises. I'm not gonna take therapy seriously. Good luck then, buddy. No disrespect. Good luck trying to get better if you have an ego and your ego is stopping you from getting better. I don't want to preach, okay? All I know is in all religious traditions, I don't think anyone who had an ego got very far in life. I mean, I believe this to be the truth, that it's an Islamic saying, whoever Allah wishes to raise, he humbles. And whoever does not humble themselves, Allah will not raise them. Right? I think it was Rumi, one of the great Sufi Islamic poets, who said, like, bow your head down and he will lift you up to heaven, right? Knock on the door, keep beseeching, right? As in, like, saying, forgive me, keep beseeching. And when you bow your head to the ground, like, Muslims bow their heads to the ground, he will elevate you, right? This is the type of worldview I come from, so that's why I'm taking such offense to what he's saying. I didn't say to him in his face, and of course I'm not saying his name to protect privacy. I'm simply saying that if you're talking to me about psychology, and you have, are interested in what I'm trying to say, and then you say your major hang-up is, I have an ego, you're not going to get very far. I mean, anxiety is very common. I mean, literally get over yourself at this point. I don't know how else to say it in a nicer way. Get over yourself. You're not that interesting. Your life is low stakes. Okay? It really, really is. You're not President Trump or Obama. Your life is not big league. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for using that word. I'm sorry. It's not, though. You're not, your life is not big league. You have low stakes gambles you do in your life every day. And none of them are really, really, really gonna, like, game changing the world, as far as I know. So literally get over yourself. Like, when you think, oh my goodness, I have something other people don't have, you're deluded. Other people have these things. It's like saying, oh my God, the sky is blue. Other people know the sky is blue. This isn't a shock. It's like we woke up one day and had a huge surge in anxiety. No, this has been happening. This has been happening. This is part of the world. Look at 9/11. Look at the war in Iraq. Look at Bin Laden and all this crap. You're telling me people aren't going to get anxiety? I was in New York on 9/11. Not New York City. I was about 30 minutes away. I lived in a small town north of it. And I got the Time magazine, I think, the month after New York, 9/11. And one of the little Time statistics said there was a 200% increase in the amount of prescriptions written. I think it was simply just for Prozac. I don't know if it was for, like, other disorder. It may be for, like, I think it was just for Prozac. 200% increase, I think, in Prozac and Zoloft. Two antidepressants after 9/11. So you're telling me you're somehow, like, immune to what? You weren't watching 9/11? Now, I'm not saying that means 9/11 causes anxiety. I'm just saying that don't be surprised when you wake up in 2018 and have anxiety. If you don't have anxiety waking up in 2018, I gotta ask you, you must be some sort of rare person, a rarefied person. Someone who's got their life together. And I don't think it has anything to do with whether that person has an ego or not. It just has to do with luck of the draw. Some people get sick, some people don't. Some of it has to do, as you mentioned in the video, has to do with nutrition and exercise. Definitely those things. Walking around the block once is equivalent to an antidepressant. I've been told this by one of the highest authorities in psychology. And what I mean by highest authorities, it means, like, he went to Princeton, I think. No, John Hopkins Medical School. So they know what they're talking about. And also nutrition. All I'm saying is, don't just think that having a disorder is a death sentence, or it's somehow you should be stigmatized or away, or there's like a anxiety only fountain somewhere. There isn't. So, okay, there never is going to be. All right. If rich people get anxious, old people get anxious. Jim Carrey had anxiety. There's a quote from Jim Carrey. He said, "I hope people be able to get everything they want in life, so they can realize that is not the purpose. Like, that is not what's going to make them happy." And he was rich. He got, Ace Ventura, all that stuff. He made all this money, and he still had depression. So when people say, oh man, if I just work hard and brush myself off, it's not about working hard and brushing yourself off. It's about being honest with yourself. It's about being honest with the feelings you feel. And how are you going to, like, as a goal, how are you going to deal with these feelings that you feel, right? For example, you want to go outside. So you turn on Netflix and, you do nothing all day. Nah, man, you got to ask yourself, why don't you want to go outside? What disorder do you have? Go to your GP just one day. What do I have, man? Do I have anxiety? Like, What? Seriously, be honest with him or her. I can't get out of bed. All right. Sometimes I feel like I want to end it. Sometimes, be diplomatic. Because when you tell them things like I want to kill myself, you got to make sure to tell them that I have these thoughts. I'm okay with them, and I have a plan. I mean, if you have a plan, you're better off calling 911 at that point. Don't go to your GP, because they'll just take you to the hospital. And you got to ask yourself, what do I have? Why? And don't try to make up stories like I have autism because I read it on the internet and now I'm going to act autistic. I've done that. And then I realized I don't have autism. And so then I'm doing things all wrong. It's okay to have these things. I mean, it doesn't make you a worse person. Look at like everybody in the media that has these things. You know Sheldon Cooper on Big Bang Theory, Monk, that was an older show where he had OCD, right? There's many shows that depict people having anxiety. What's the other one? I was gonna say Dexter, even though I think he may have. He's not a sociopath. It's kind of like, good movie I recommend. Girl Interrupted. Also the book. I haven't read the book. I want to read the book. Girl Interrupted, the movie, starring the woman who forget her name. She was on SNL, I think, or she had her own battle with mental health. I think that's perhaps what inspired her to get into this video. I'm not sure. I don't want to judge her. What I want to say though is Girl Interrupted is a very, very, very good movie depicting borderline personality disorder, which I have been diagnosed with. I think about ending it here. We'll see. I'm just thinking. Yeah. Screw it. I was gonna go to work today. I worked like basically I worked basically like a double shift yesterday, so I really don't feel like going to work today. I mean, it's Friday, it's Boxing Day, and I just bought GTA 5. I know it sounds dumb, like it's Friday. I just bought GTA 5 online, and like I had it before for my computer, and then I sold my computer. I don't want to discuss that. My computer, okay, or really any of my computers. Let's just move on. The point is, I had the game on PC, then I bought it on Xbox when my brother gave me his Xbox, which is very nice of him. That was very nice of him. They do. It was very nice of him. So, yeah, I actually went to EB earlier. I'm just trying to wrap up with this. I went to EB earlier because I wanted to buy another game, because I was actually one of the first people in the store for Black Friday on EB. And the only game, I bought 2 games. One for my half-brother because it was his birthday, Black Ops 4. And then I said, well, it's Black Friday, might as well get a game too, so I'm in there. So I asked the guy, like, what should I get? Like, I have the Xbox Game Pass, so what should I get that's probably not on there? He's just like, dude, this whole wall is on sale for like 50% off. And I was like, shit. I already looked at like 2 or 3 games I wanted to pick up. They had Red Dead Redemption 2, they had a Gears of War game, they had Mortal Kombat. And I was just like, yo, this looks sad. Unfortunately though, I don't know what it was. I was just like, I knew I wanted to get 2 games, and I thought, well, maybe get a third one. And as I'm walking to the counter, I was like, get a third one. And I was like, so I told him I might come back, because you guys have ridiculous deals, I might come back. So I came back today, and I was looking for my third one. I was this close to getting I think it was, one game, I forget what it was called, some stupid game. I think it was Mortal Kombat. I was like, nah. I was really close to getting one game though. I was really close to just walking in, getting a game, getting out, because it didn't mean no more $3. One game they were selling it for $10. Gears of War 1, selling it for $10 right now. It's Gears of War. I know there's 5 Gears of Wars. I mean, still it's a pretty good deal. Well, of course, everything's on sale today, right? I mean, everything. You go to Amazon, Best Buy, Walmart, EB. Those are the 4 main ones. You're gonna get huge savings. I mean, right now, NHL 20, half off, something like that. Is it $40? When it's regularly like $80. That's a brand new game. That game came out 2 months ago. So It's amazing the deals you have. It's actually ridiculous. I know people that like save their money probably for this specific day. It's how important it is. I mean, I would like to buy more stuff, although I don't want to waste my money. I know that seems stupid. It's like, well, it's like this and it's like this. During the day, I mean, during all the other days that aren't Black Friday or Cyber Monday, most people buy things on an average basis. Like, ooh, I'll save up for something and then I'll buy it. Right? And then they'll have enough money for the rest of the year. On Cyber Monday, it's different. What they do is they save a lot of money for that day, right? People do, different, like society, right? This is just a societal trend I'm thinking about. And they take that money and they buy something. Let's say walk into Best Buy. It's like, oh yeah, something's off. So they buy what they want to buy. While they get there, they're like, there's 2 or 3 things that are cheap. So they're like, oh man, a blender for like $5, you know, a computer for like 2 cents, right? So they pick up small things too. Next thing they know, they're spending the same amount of money as if they were to have saved the money and bought 1 thing. Now they're buying 5 things, right? And you end up spending, at least in my opinion, more money when you're buying 5 things because you're in the store. And this is only for people who are in the store. They get distracted. Like, I know I would. You're in a store, there's like 50 gazillion people, there's huge signs saying 50% off, 30% off, free, and you end up picking up everything. And then when you go there and you're like, oh, I saved like $800. I know, but I mean, you saved $800, you also spent more than $20 than you wanted to, right? And so it's basically like you just threw that money out. Away. I don't understand this, you know? At the same time, I'm a big fan of Black Friday. I mean, I don't like the violence involved. I've never been part of any violence or associated with it. I'm sure there was people who've been, you've seen the South Park episode, people punched and stabbed and this and that. So I mean, it's better off just to, you know, go online and get everything. Save yourself. I mean, if you're that worried about your getting, you know, trampled, just buy it online and you won't be left, you know, right? You'll be okay. Just buy it online. I'm gonna end it here. It's a good video. Sorry for the late upload. I slept in a bit earlier. I'm so mad at myself for sleeping in earlier. You know, I woke up early and I was doing good, and then I was watching Star Trek and it was like 10:30 and I was waiting for the restaurant to open up at 11. And I was like, oh, I'll just take a 30-minute sleep break, right? And I wake up at 11. I wake up at 1:30, unfortunately. Then I had to go to the Jumu'ah. I pushed myself to go to the Jumu'ah, even though I know, I was like, forget it. You know, I make excuses like, weird high-minding Islamic excuses too. Like, I know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm a sheikh or something. Like, oh, you know, I heard a teacher say that you don't need to go to Jumu'ah if you bell. And that's just like, it's the devil just like whispering in you saying, don't, you know, don't. Basically, it really is. So I pushed myself to do that. Alhamdulillah, praise be to God. And then I did my exposure, and now I'm planning to go to work. I'm gonna be late though, definitely gonna be late because I need to take a shower. I know, I think so. Either that or I'm just not gonna go to work. I'm still gonna think about it. I really want to. I mean, it's really cool playing GTA 5 online. I mean, that's definitely fun. Although, I mean, making money in real life is funner than making money in a video game. Alright, it's ended here, guys. From my 10 to a 10, remember, guys, there will not be a video tomorrow. There may be a surprise, though. A surprise video about social anxiety I might make. Stay tuned. I've been tinkering about it in my head. I've been messing around with it, you know, because I have been diagnosed with social phobia as well. I have something I want to think about. I'll definitely tinker about it a little bit more. So right now, remember, guys, stay with it, and a new video Sunday.